Alright folks, welcome to our video here for angle relationships. This will be again obviously on October 1st, Wednesday, so sorry, my apologies for being out. Again, this is our last true golf event. We're at conference this week, so thank you for again being flexible and everything. So again, keep in mind that the next time I see either one of your classes, so again for drop, that'll be on Thursday, or CNF, I'll see you guys on Friday. We'll have this quiz for angles, so just keep that in mind. Again, most of you obviously have been doing pretty well with these, but again, obviously there's a lot of them, so just keep that in mind, and then obviously we're going to be solving for them, so we'll be using those to make sure that we're ready for our quiz to go coming up in a few days. So what I'd like you to do, go ahead and pause this video, honestly. Again, if you feel like you're good, and then just kind of check your answers as I kind of go along, so then that way, again, you get good practice. Again, if you're feeling hopelessly lost right now, and you're like, okay, I need some help, just kind of follow along, so then that way, again, you'll be all good to go. Alright, so the first one, number one, it says identify the following angle relationships. So you just literally name the angles here. Again, you'll have this section part on your quiz here. So it says angle 1 and angle 8. If I'm looking here, again, I see the parallel lines, so that helps me, because in this case, angle 1 and angle 8 are on the outside of them. So right away I know I'm going to have an exterior of something, and since they're on the opposite side, so here's my transversal line, they're on the opposite side of those transversal lines. What we're going to have here is alternate exterior angles. And you can abbreviate, folks, so you do not have to write all of them. So alternate exterior, EXT, angles there for that one. So that's the first one. Number two, we got angle 4 and angle 6. Now these ones, again, are a little trickier because in this case now we're on the inside. So therefore, again, we got the parallel lines, but we're now on the same side as the transversal. So therefore, this one is going to be what we call same side and then interior angles. Okay, so those are those two right there. All right, number 3, angle 7 and 8. This one, again, a little bit tricky too, because in this case, again, it looks like they'd be like, oh, same side exterior angles. But in this case, remember, same side exterior, they have to be on the same side of the transversal. These are on the opposite side. So there's nothing really special about these outside that they're on the same line, so we're going to call them supplementary. All right, 2 more to go. Number 4. Number 4 and 5, I should say, at least in this case for angles 4 and 5. What you're looking at here then is you're looking at, since we're inside the parallel lines again, and we're on the opposite side of the transversal, what we have then is we have what we call alternate interior angles. Alright, and we got one more to go, angles 1 and 4. This one, if you look, remember these kind of make the X. If you remember, we throw up the X, and they're, again, not adjacent, so they're not next to each other, but they're opposite, so therefore what we call vertical angles. Alright, so hopefully you went 5 for 5. Again, these, naming them I don't think is the problem for most students. I think most of you guys are pretty well set at those. I think the big problem starts when we start introducing these and trying to solve for either a specific value of Y or X or M, depending on, again, the situation. So, alright, so we're going to move on down to the bottom here. Number 6, it says, let me adjust this so you can kind of see a little bit better. So it says, for each diagram, write an equation and find the missing value and state the angle relationship. So I always tell the students, identify the angle relationship first, because when you do that, it makes it a lot easier to figure out what you're actually looking for. So in this case, I see parallel lines, obviously, because you have those here, and then a transversal that cuts through them. So what I'm looking at is I'm inside these parallel lines, and I'm on the same side of them. So what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have same side interiors. And what that means is, if you recall, same side interior angles all add up to a value of 180 degrees, because they're all in that same line again, if you remember. So what we need to do now is we need to take that y minus 48 and positive 3y, add them up, and set them equal to 180. So a lot like we did with perimeter almost in a way. So again, we add those values, put them together, and then we can simplify our terms there and find a solution. So in this case, y and 3y are going to give me a solution of 4y. Then I'm going to have minus 48 is equal to 180. Add the value of 48 to both sides. You're going to get 4y is equal to, and then in this case when I did that, I got 228. And now I divide by 4 on both sides, and my y value gives me 57. So therefore I can put 57 in the blank there. Alright, so hopefully you did okay with that one. Again, same kind of deal with those. All right, so number 7, we're looking here. We got that 3x plus 3 and x plus 7. So right away, I'm looking and I'm seeing that square. You see that little square, you know right away it's going to be complementary. So in this case, complementary, remember, those are the angles that add up to a sum of 90 degrees. So in this case, again, those values there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take that 3x plus 3 and x plus 7 and set them equal to the value of 90 once we put them together. So we're going to take 3x plus 3 and then plus x plus 7 equal it all to a value of 90 degrees. All right, now we're going to put our like terms together. So same kind of idea as number 6. Instead of y's, though, we have x's. So therefore 3x and x are going to give me 4x. And then I'm going to have the values of 3 and 7. I put those together, I'm going to get a positive 10 equal to 90. I should put plus 10 in between there. And then what I got is I got the value of positive 10, so I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So I'm going to get 4x is equal to the value of 80. And then divide by the value of 4, so then x is going to equal the value of 20. So we can go ahead and put it in there. Alright, so as you can see, again, just making sure that you understand those little nuances, so that way, again, you can be able to find the values. Alright, and we got 2 more down here at the bottom. So number 8, this one's kind of a fun one. So if you look, we actually have a triangle. And again, I keep telling students if there's one value you remember out of all the numbers for geometry, it's 180 degrees, because in this case, obviously, lines add up to 180, but also inside of triangles. So therefore, with that value of 180 degrees, we're going to use that here as well. And if you remember, this is what we call the triangle sum theorem. I just have students label it TST for short. Again, that's saying that all angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So what I'm going to do is obviously I have 3 angles here. I'm going to put them together, set them equal to 180, and then solve for the value of m. So I'm going to start. I'm going to have 2m minus 3, just in the bottom right left corner here. Then I have the value of m plus 8 kind of at the top. And then plus the value of bottom right, which is m plus 6, all equal to the value of 180 degrees. Alright, now you're going to put your like terms together here. In this case, again, when I do, I'm going to have 2m, m, and m. That's going to give me 4m here. And then I'm going to have the values of negative 3, 8, and 6. So 8 plus 6 gives me 14. Minus that value of 3 gives me plus 11, equal to 180. Now the last 2 steps, subtract 11 on both sides. So you're going to get 4m is equal to, now 180 minus 11 is 169. And then divide by 4 on both sides, and m is going to equal the value of 42.25. Alright, and again, it's okay to get decimals. Again, so long as your work makes sense. And again, if you don't believe that it actually works, you can always just plug them in. Make sure that all those angles add up to a sum of 180. Otherwise, again, if they don't, then you got to make sure you go back and double check them. Alright, and last but not least, we got number 9 here. So number 9, again, we see the x's right away. Again, you're thinking vertical angles because you got those intersecting lines. Opposite angles here, in this case, are going to be congruent. So 8k plus 9 and 9k plus 3 are going to be the ones that are congruent there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and set them equal to one another. So therefore 8k plus 9 equal to 9k plus 3. And I'm just going to subtract their values. So the first one I got is, I'm going to move the k's over. So I'm going to have 9 is equal to, well, now if I simplify, I'm going to have 8k minus 9k, or excuse me, 9k minus 8k, which gives me just k plus 3. And then I have that value positive 3, so I'm just going to move it over, subtract 3 on both sides, and k is going to equal the value of 6. And again, you can write vertical there. And with that in mind, the value of k, which is 6. Alright, so this is angle relationships 402, or FOU2. So again, you'll have our quiz on this, so they'll be broken down in some different sections. Again, we'll have obviously the name, the angles. You'll be asked to find some of the values, obviously with x, y, and k, and p, and so forth, and then be able to name their specific parts. So, alright, with that in mind, please let me know if you have any questions. Today you're going to be practicing basically the whole hour, so again, watch this video first, and then again, 214, that's going to actually be your homework. So again, you just need to finish that, so that 214, again, you won't notice in your homework packet, obviously. So just finish that packet, and then I'll grade that for homework when I come back on Thursday or Friday for you. So, all right, with that in mind, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you all very soon.